Today, we continue our Killer Comics triple feature with Ernest Dickerson's diabolical deluge of demons. The Billies are zany, the exploded brain matter is brainy, and the iconic Crypt Keeper puts the in La La Land as we go all in on Christian blood magic to meet the Collector in Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night.
You scared me with that.
Yeah, I jumped.
The box. You opened it. We came.
I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left.
Explorers in the further regions of experience. Demons to some, angels to others.
Call you Meatloaf Jack! Surprise, Sydney.
Hello, and welcome to How I Met Your Monster, the show where we discuss the introductions to your favorite movie monsters. Today, we are continuing our user-suggested triple feature, Killer Comics, with Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night.
Thank you, Zane.
Yes, thank you, Zane.
Billy Zane. Just kidding.
Billy
my
Zane.
God.
That's why he did this.
Yeah. I don't think he recommended this movie, though.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it was not on the list. He had a long list. This was not one. This was not on it.
We'll find out in a little bit. I'm sure we'll talk about it, that even though Tales from the Crypt was based on comic books, this particular movie, Demon Night, was not one of the stories.
No.
Not one of the original stories. This was written specifically just as a standalone movie. But
in fact, it was written as a spec or in a completely original script, and then it got repurposed to become a Tales from the Crypt movie. So yeah, we're not firing on all the cylinders when it comes to choosing comic adaptations for this triple feature. But we do what we can.
This is the first time meeting the Crypt Keeper for us after 137 episodes.
4.5 years.
Yeah,
Crazy.
But we're not meeting the Crypt Keeper alone. We have a special guest with us today, writer, director, actor, and podcaster, Michael Varrati. Michael, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I am very excited to be here for your initial foray into the world of Tales from the Crypt. I love this movie, and I'm so excited to talk about it with you.
We're very excited to have you to talk about it with us.
But before we get into it, I want to talk about your new movie for a minute.
Yes.
There's a zombie outside.
Yes.
That was wild.
Don't go out there.
I watched it earlier this week, and it is a trip.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah, dude. I liked it. It kept getting more and more meta as it went on. And I just loved that. Yeah.
Well, I tried to go in as blind as possible, and I was like, it takes turns. I won't spoil anything, but it takes turns, and it is a very fun watch. So highly recommended.
Well, first off, thank you. I really appreciate that. And it truly was a movie that was born out of just the desire to do a story that we hadn't really seen, or that we hadn't seen in that particular way. I'm very lucky in my career as a filmmaker and screenwriter and producer that I have worked on a lot of things for other people. And I've also been able to do things on a smaller scale for myself. And coming out of the pandemic, I have a kind of a dedicated group of creatives that I work with that, we work together both in front of and behind the camera. And we had done a handful of short films that did very well for us and that kind of allowed us to explore themes that, we wouldn't have been able to do in the mainstream. And it felt like the natural progression to eventually do a feature. And when I sat down and wrote There's a Zombie Outside, immediately I said to myself, well, no studio's ever going to let us make this. So if we do it, we have to do it ourselves. And we did. And, luckily, when I took that bananas script around to everybody in my little group, no one was just like, what's wrong with you? They were like, let's do it. And the film was made entirely independently. We did it all on our own, and I couldn't be more proud of it. But for it being done completely on our own, I also recognized that we were making something that wasn't going to be for everybody. And that to me was to the film's benefit. I feel like, there are going to be people who watch it and they're not necessarily going to jive with what we're doing. And that's totally okay. But the people that I have seen who have really connected with the material have really connected with it. And that's all I could ask. And so I'm very, very happy with how the film has been received. I wanted to make a queer, strange film that utilizes zombies in a social commentary sort of way that spoke to my Pittsburgh roots, albeit in a very different way than George Romero did it, because you can't do what Romero did. Everybody tries and they fail. So I think that to me, it was just a matter of telling a story I wanted to see that was a little bit personal that I hoped would connect with people. And I'm so glad that, you liked it.
Yeah, you mentioned how it's not, like certain movies aren't for everyone. And I think a big problem, and you see this a lot with like bigger studio movies, is they're constantly trying to, they have those test screenings where it's like, we need to make sure everyone enjoys this. And that's usually where a lot of those usually bigger movies kind of miss the mark, because there's no memorability factor to it, because it just feels like it's hitting all these marks, but it's all diluted. All the marks are diluted. So it doesn't really kind of reach any plateau because it's never given the chance to. So a movie like yours is able to.
I think you just have to ask yourself, what is the goal of your movie? The truth is there's nothing wrong with populist cinema. It does exist for a reason. In my career, I've had the good benefit to work a lot on television Christmas movies. And I love those movies, but they're very far from There's a Zombie Outside. And it's funny because I've done just enough of them that now a lot of screenwriters and filmmakers will come to me and be like, I want to write a Hallmark or a Lifetime movie, but mine's going to be different. And I'm like, I bet you think it is, but they don't want different. There is a comfort and a connectability to the formula that people look for when they go to those movies. And so that speaks to a very specific kind of audience need, whereas specific art made for specific audiences has to be more honed in. I think to your point, often I say, like, if you make something for everybody, you run the risk of making something for nobody, because then who's it speaking to? And that's it. It's like, I love the idea of an test audience in that, what's it really for? The test audience can be different based on the configuration of people. And it always speaks to this question that producers love to ask, well, who's this for? Well, if I made the movie on my own, first and foremost, it's for me. I wanted to see it. And the truth is, and this is something that I feel like a lot of artists really need to wrap their head around, not every movie is going to open wide and be beloved by millions immediately, nor should every piece of art be opened wide and beloved by millions immediately. You make art for personal reasons, and if you affect one other person, then you did your job. Now, of course, the hope is that that one person is 2 and those 2 people are 20, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But honestly, once you release it to the world, if one person loves your movie, you got to walk away and just, take solace in the fact that you made a thing that matters to someone, that matters to you, and move on. You cannot control the trajectory of art once it's out. So,
right.
Well, this is definitely going to be one of those movies that matters to people, because like you said, and again, I won't spoil anything, but it is touched on the queerness of the film is very front and center. So that's definitely going to have the memorability factor, especially for queer audiences. So,
thank you.
From the queer, I'm speaking for the whole queer community. We thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And also on top of that, like, congratulations on your Fangoria Chainsaw Award nomination.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I have to tell you, and I always feel obligated to say this, for folks who don't know, I actually have been the writer and director of the Chainsaw Awards for a handful of years now. But I do not sit on the nominating body just to avoid conflicts of interest. I have nothing to do with the films that get nominated. So the morning that the nominations were announced, I discovered our film was nominated alongside everybody else when it was in Variety. And it was amazing. A shock and surprise to me. I mean, it was really wild. And it's very strange, and having been part of the show for so long, to be like, oh, not only do I have to put together this show, but now my team and I have to actively campaign for our nomination. But it felt really good. It felt really good to be seen in that way. And we've all spoken about it on Team Zombie, and we feel like, you know, as cliche as it is to say the honor is the nomination, but when you remember that we did do this entirely on our own, that we paid for it on our own, that it was done in post on our own, that we had to go out and find distribution on our own, that this little movie that was entirely homegrown got noticed by horror fans enough to get nominated in a category alongside a Shudder original and a Hulu original, and these movies that had millions of dollars. Some of the movies that we are in the category with, their, you know, craft services budget was probably the budget of our film. So I feel like, win or lose, that our film affected people enough to land in that space. That's a win. I feel so good about it. And I'm excited that we get to party with the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards this year in that way. So thank you so much.
Yeah. I mean, a nomination is also validation because you're putting in all this work and everything. The only thing people really see is the final product, which is the movie. So to have that kind of life after in this way is must be really exciting.
Now, the only
validating.
Funny thing about being the director of the actual ceremony, the television broadcast, is once our film was nominated, all of my team from Zombies like, well, we're going to be in the show, right? And I was like, okay, bump the brakes. But they might pop up, some of them.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll cameos here and there.
Now, before we move on from There's a Zombie Outside, I have one more little thing that I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
I was scrolling through your IMDb page.
Oh, no.
And I saw, I want to see if this was on purpose or not. In There's a Zombie Outside, there is a scene where the main character is looking through some scripts.
Yes.
And I saw a script for The Office Is Mine.
Yeah.
Which was a short that you and the actor in There's a Zombie Outside, Ben Bauer, had written together years previously, right?
Yes.
So was that like, did you put that there like intentionally as like a fun little Easter egg, or was it just like, here's some scripts that I would just like randomly threw them on in the scene?
No, it's actually, the scripts on the bed are in the script of There's a Zombie Outside. We selected every title. In fact, because you spoke to the fact that there is a slight more than slight meta factor to this film. If you look in the world, anytime a movie is referenced that directly relates to Ben's character, it's something that already exists. The posters on the wall in his bedroom are movies that we have done together. In the cabin, when he's watching The Thing on TV, that's actually my partner Brendan in a short film that we made about a killer garden gnome chasing him through the subway. And those are all movies that exist and have played at festivals. And so there is an intertextuality that There's a Zombie Outside is playing with that is fun if you know those films, but not necessary to know those films.
Sure.
Yeah.
So this is the Wes Craven's new nightmare of zombie movies.
Yeah.
So what's wild about that is I will absolutely say sure, but when people started saying that to me about this movie at our first cast and crew screening, I have to confess to you, I never thought once about Wes Craven's new nightmare.
That's so funny.
Until someone mentioned it to me at a screening. That doesn't mean that I wasn't influenced by it. You know,
Sure.
Peaches and I, Peaches Christ, my co-host of the Midnight Mass podcast, we talk about all the time as writers who are big film nerds. Sometimes you directly reference something and you're like, this is it, I'm doing the thing. And then later, when you're watching something else and you see something play out in a movie that you loved or haven't seen in years, you're like, oh shit, I also just did that, but I forgot about it, because that's like how ingrained our love of genre is. So I am quite sure that the whole Wes Craven's New Nightmares sequence, because I love that movie. I think it's one of the best sequels of all time. It's also one of the best examples of meta horror that we've ever gotten. It's the best piece of meta horror that Wes ever did. Sorry, fans of other franchises.
Danny.
We're looking at you, Danny.
But I think that, it was not ever direct, but looking back, especially something that I do in the movie towards the end, I can see. Yes, I'm sure I leaned on the spirit of Wes for that one.
Sure.
Mhm.
Oh, I do that. Whenever I'm writing something, there's times where I'm like, oh, this is such a good idea. And then I'm like, oh, wait. And then I get anxiety because I'm like, did I see this in something that I just don't remember? And then I second guess it. And yeah, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
it's
the
invariable.
curse.
Horror isn't
Yeah.
Ouroboros, like there's always going to be a
Exactly.
little bit of.
Well, it's funny you say that because we're talking about Demon Knight, and there's in Demon Knight, there's those little like sequences where a character will have like this fantasy play out from the cause of Billy Zane's character, the Collector, and then you'll see that they're really just like in the room. Willie, for example, he sees all the girls and the topless girls, and he's at the bar, but then Danny, the little boy, just sees him standing there like in the room.
Right.
Nothing's going on, but he's in his head. And I was thinking, man, I've seen these kinds of scenes in other movies. But then I was like, wait a second. I haven't seen this movie in like 20 years. Did I really see this
Am I
kind
just
of
remembering
scene
this scene
in another movie, or am I remembering this movie? So it was kind of like, which came first,
That's funny.
But
Well, this is very much
yeah.
like the Leprechaun. We just did Leprechaun, where it's just like there's kind of like the internalized fantasy sequences, and then you have like the character witnessing it. So I feel like you got a lot of that. That was a lot of early '90s supernatural horror kind of played with that.
It is interesting. I think prior to the reset that Scream provides in '97, I always kind of take umbrage with the fact that people say horror of the early 90s was in a slump or a bad place. Everyone's like, oh, horror like was done with the 80s and then not till Scream. I'm like, no, there was a lot going on. It was just weird.
Mhm.
When you look at Leprechaun and you look at Warlock and you look at some of these movies, even Demon Knight leans into some weirdness. I don't know if maybe the mainstream audience forgot that this is a genre of subversion and it's not supposed to just be pretty people in popcorn eating scenarios,
Right.
Yeah.
You can get strange with it. And I love that some of the early 90s, because we were in that transitional phase out of the slasher boom of the 80s, they took weird swings. I don't love it all. Like, I think that Warlock is really great, but Wishmaster doesn't fully work for me, but I get people that do love that. But like, they were throwing stuff against the wall to make these things work.
Yeah, and also it's sort of like you were talking about, like the subversions kind of had to keep there needed to be like kind of like exponentially increasing from where we were in the 80s, and like where do you go? And like the 90s was kind of becoming just culturally a little bit more watered down compared to the 80s. And so I feel like maybe audiences just weren't as interested in kind of seeing that, like the zaniness that is like a lot of the horror movies we were talking about in the early 90s. Like they weren't as interested in seeing where that goes. So then when Scream comes out and kind of like puts a stopper on it a little bit and kind of resets it, it's like, okay, we kind of did need it, even though, like, to your point, I agree. Like Zach is kind of our you're sort of our
I do love the early 90s
boy,
I
early
do
90s
too.
horror
and
boy.
I love hearing you mention Warlock, because nobody ever talks about Warlock, and that's just
Warlock is what's his name?
Julian Sands.
Julian Sands.
Yes,
And
Julian
Richard E.
Sands.
Grant. I mean, Warlock is an exceptional film, and I think that it has really great witch lore in it. The nail in the footprint to stop the witch. I think that's like great stuff that we could do to cycle back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now Demon Knight. Michael, I heard you say earlier that you're a big fan of this movie. Danny and Casey, are you fans of this movie? Is this a first watch for you guys? Tell me where are you guys at?
Yeah, so this was the first time I'd seen it. And I don't like the title because I wanted a man in armor, but that's okay.
Oh.
That's all right.
Okay.
Casey, they did have armor, and then they cast William Sadler, and they're like, we don't need it.
Yeah.
he's enough. That's enough.
I thought that it was going to take place in the medieval times.
Okay.
Well, this is one of those movies where I feel like if you wanted to go on and do a bunch of sequels and prequels, sort of like what the Predator franchise is doing, where you can kind of just like place it. Yeah, but it's never too late.
That's
Billy
true.
Zane did say he would be down for a Demon Knight sequel.
Okay.
So you never know.
Yeah.
And who was it? Charles Fleischer said, he's like, if they were doing Demon Knight 6, he's like, I would still be game to be doing this. So yeah, this is one of those movies that feel, I mean, I guess we're kind of the whole point of this movie was that it was supposed to be part of a bigger, well, maybe not so much a franchise, but a trilogy. So, yeah.
I did like
Yeah.
it. It was, some of it was kind of, I don't know. It felt, I love short movies, but it felt really long.
Oh, when
to
I
me.
saw 90
But it
minutes, it's like
felt-
Casey's happy.
It
Yeah.
felt like 3 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I
Dude,
liked it. It
that's
just felt
wild.
like it was never ending. Like I was gonna eat dinner and I paused it and it was only halfway in. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
No,
Anyway.
I have a soft spot for this movie because this was one of I honestly used to watch it all the time as a kid with my brother, and for whatever reason I never thought to go back to watch it. And I texted you guys when I put it on, and I was just like genuinely blown away just how entertained I was. I was like, this
Yeah.
is better than what I remember. This is incredible.
I do think there are portions of it that are certainly dated or feel beholden to the Tales from the Crypt series of the era and the HBO kind of trappings of the era. The Dick Miller fantasy sequence where he walks in and all the topless women are there feels kind of like, all right, I see what we're doing.
Yeah.
But there's so much in this movie that I do think is really great. And for the mid 90s, pretty rock and roll in terms of its politics. The fact that Jada Pinkett is the final girl, and we don't put enough respect on her performance in this movie in kind of the greater pantheon of horror is a disservice. But also, I think that this film just underscores how significant a filmmaker Ernest Dickerson is to me. I mean, here is somebody who is a legendary cinematographer who kind of really got his start shooting episodes of Tales from the Dark Side, but then goes on to shoot like the bulk of the great era of Spike Lee motion pictures. He does Do the Right Thing, She Gotta Have It, Malcolm X, and then as a filmmaker makes this movie and Surviving the Game and Bones. And it's like, he crafted his own space as a master of horror that was so different, but also perfect for the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he, and speaking of Jada Pinkett, it's funny how, I don't know, I just think of like how if one thing hadn't happened, then this one would have happened. And then, like the kind of domino effect, because he had seen her in Menace to Society, put her in this. And then obviously a year later was in Scream 2. And then she has that iconic, and she's kind of like, I don't know, everyone always kind of refers to Scream 2 as her entryway into horror, but
Yeah.
Well, she was great, but CCH Pounder did it for me.
Oh my God.
Oh.
100%.
And this is our second. Oh, incredible. This is our second CCH Pounder movie this year. We actually started. Did we start the year or end last year?
I think we ended last year with End of Days.
End of Days.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Where she was in that. And
okay.
Yeah, we were talking, you had said, Danny, that you had watched it all the time as a kid and then you hadn't seen it in years and you were, kind of flooded with nostalgia. Same here, like when the opening credits came on and they were just like,
oh yeah,
it was like CCH Pounder, William Sadler, Jada Pinkett, Thomas Hayden Church. I was like, what? I forgot about all these.
Well, yeah.
I forgot they were all in this movie.
And the nostalgia even goes back to just the Tales from the Crypt of it all, because that's another show that again, as a kid, I don't think I ever actually, I think I was too young to sit down, or we just didn't have HBO, which is to watch it. But it's one of those things where you were just so familiar with it because he was, the Crypt Keeper is such in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
And he is sort of that entryway into horror for kids, especially. So that was really special because it also made me wonder why we don't see this character more often, especially these days. But
right,
it's never too late.
Yeah,
he still holds up too. He looks so good.
Looks amazing.
Oh yeah,
so fun. I don't know. I also feel like that type of humor just feels very timeless. It's just silly enough.
Yeah.
And we did get a kind of like, it kind of started to make like a little bit of a comeback with Creepshow on Shudder a couple of years ago, where like not the Crypt Keeper, but that style of show kind of had a little bit of a resurgence there.
Yeah, I don't think the Creep is as funny as the Crypt Keeper, though.
No, I agree.
To be honest, I feel like I always conflate the two. So then when I think of the Creep, I can't not think of the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah,
and then
so it just
maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering because I'm thinking of the movie Creepshow. But does the Creep talk in the Creepshow series?
So that's my problem too. Is I always think of
Yeah, I don't
part
think
Creep Show
so.
2. That's where my memory goes to. And then I just keep thinking of, I don't know.
Yeah, because I always think of the creep
Yeah.
from the first movie
No.
where it doesn't speak. So,
Mhm.
like, comedy-wise, it's like Buster Keaton, and the Crypt Keeper is
Yeah.
like George Carlin or something. Okay.
Yeah.
Because in Creep Show 2, he does speak, I believe. I'm like trying to remember. There's
Okay.
he's like delivering. He has the plant. That's like the through line story, is that he gives the
Yeah.
giant Venus flytrap to that kid.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he speaks in the show.
I do know that in the original Tales from the Crypt comic books, the Crypt Keeper shared the hosting duties with two other
Mm-hmm.
ghouls, or there's a name for them, and I'm it's escaping me right now, but they didn't start out funny. Like that kind of gradually came throughout the comics. But they started out just like creepy.
Well, and there was a Tales from the Crypt Keeper cartoon that was on Saturday mornings that was sort of like a more safe for kids version of Tales from the
Okay.
Crypt. And all three of those EC Comics hosts exist in the cartoon. There's like the Old Witch.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
the
like-
Old Witch and the Vault Keeper.
Oh,
The
yeah, the
Vault
Vault Keeper. I was going to say,
Okay.
and other guy. Like, I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then they also did a
Okay.
reboot of the comics in 2007, and they reintroduced the Vault Keeper and the Old Witch into it. And it was a fairly short run, but at least they were still kind of paying homage to the roots of the series,
Okay.
which debuted in 1950, which is crazy. Like predated like Alfred Hitchcock Presents, even Twilight Zone.
And predated the Comics Code, I think.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
it's funny because it ended in 55, and one of the reasons was because of the Comics Code, which was, if you're not familiar, I did a little bit of research on this earlier, where it's like they kind of thought that comic books were like making kids little dickheads, and so they're like,
I mean,
stop
they
this.
kind of were.
Stop this.
So, like,
we're all little dickheads now.
I think that was because of our parents, Danny.
Yeah.
and that's kind of where the Tales from the Crypt stopped once that came out in 1955. But okay, let's jump into it. Are you guys ready to head to? Okay, I have the name here, Wormwood, New Mexico. You guys ready to go to Wormwood, New Mexico? And
Never
I was
been
on
to
my
New
way
Mexico.
there anyways, so we may as
Yeah.
well.
the Mission
Scenic.
Hotel.
Which was shot in which was not even an exterior location, which is fun. It was shot in an air hangar.
Yeah. Not too far from where I'm sitting right now in Van
Oh,
Nuys.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was a very cool shot though. As like they like walk up to the Mission Hotel, he's like, Willie's kind of like leading him there, and then the lightning's crashing, and it's very clearly like a composite of something, but it looked cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Wormwood. Okay, so for Demon Night, Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night, we have 11 official reveals. And if you are brand new to the show, a monster reveal is anytime a monster is revealed to the characters in the movie or to us as an audience member. So Danny, this was your pick for our Killer Comics triple feature. Could you please read the synopsis from IMDb?
I'd love to. High-level demons collect low-level demons as warriors in attempt to obtain a key containing the blood of Christ. The key is guarded by immortal warriors called Demon Knights,
which in fact do not wear suits of armor.
I'm not sure who's to blame here. Is it the phrasing or the way I read it? But,
no, it was the way it's written is kind of odd. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what it's about.
To not directly mention Billy Zane though is a
crime.
It's hurting the movie's chances.
Yeah. And so we'll just jump right into it with our very first reveal. I feel like this should be kind of like a bigger deal, but this is the first time we're meeting the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah, very weird.
And we get the amazing, very iconic Tales from the Crypt intro.
Yeah.
Which is so fun. That music is fantastic.
Yeah, Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
Is that Danny Elfman?
It's a very Danny Elfman score, yeah.
Okay.
I love how Danny Elfman always kind of just sneaks in and does like a little like moment for movies if he's not doing the full score, and you can always tell.
Well, it's funny when you listen to when you watch Nightbreed, you can very much hear like a Batman-esque kind of score with Nightbreed at the beginning. I don't know if they came out around the same time, but it was like, oh yeah, these are very similar.
I always think of in Jurassic Park when John Hammond is saying, he's like explaining to, when he's giving them the kind of the tour of everything, and he's like, later there'll be like the music, the bump bump bump. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be the Danny Elfman, and they're just gonna do a little Danny Elfman insert. I don't know, it almost feels like I know it's not really an inside wink or something, but it feels like it.
Yeah. What if he like said that John Hammond was like, I know just the
obviously
person.
Danny Elfman's coming in.
Well, they did spare no expense, so
exactly. Yeah. Danny Elfman is an expense. It's a worthy expense.
Worthy expense for sure.
An expense nonetheless.
But could you imagine the kind of monster you'd have to be if this show came out now and there was a skip intro button and you clicked that during?
Oh yeah, you'd never skip that intro,
dude. Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Real monster.
I mean, my whole life. Watching this show, whenever we blow through those doors and then go into the hidden like catacombs, there's always a part of me that's like, what's the rest of this house look like? I want to like just walk around the house from Tales from the Crypt. Also, he lives in the basement. You could probably have like a real sweet like shared roommate situation where like
100%. I asked my husband because he kind of like watched the opening credits with me, and I was like, how can we, obviously it's like that fantasy of like when we're rich, when money is no expense, how can we get this without it being this, like without the dirtiness of it and the cobwebs, but still kind of maintain that aesthetic? And he was like, I don't know. I don't know if we're going there.
What are you talking about, Danny?
I was like, I just need like a trap door and I need like a swirling stone staircase into my dungeon office. And I would honestly be a very happy person.
Well, I think when it's dirty, it's a haunted house. And when it's clean, it's the house from an Agatha Christie movie. So either way, there's just like murder.
When it's clean, it's a haunted home.
But the Crypt Keeper, voiced by John Cassier.
Yeah.
Long running voice actor. He's done, he did voice work for Disney's Pocahontas, Tiny Toon Adventures, Rocket Power. He was also, I don't know if you guys are fans of Adventure Time, but he did the, at least I think it was for the pilot or whenever the Ice King first shows up, he was the original voice for the Ice King, and then they ended up recasting him.
Oh, okay.
Which is crazy.
I used to work for Channel Frederator, which created Adventure Time.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a good show.
You can't see it on this wall because of the way the cameras are fixed, but I have artwork of Peppermint Butler as a monster saying, from your bones, which came from the show. So
incredible. I used to do, we used to go to a lot of conventions and doing cosplay with my friends. And we came this close to doing an Adventure Time group cosplay. I can't remember what his name was. He was the very moody vampire who was sort of the.
Are you talking about Marshall Lee?
Marshall Lee, because I was like, it's not Marceline. Marceline is the vampire. Yeah, Marshall Lee. Thank you.
Well, Marshall Lee is the flipped universe version of Marceline, because that's in the Fiona and Cake universe. I know too much about it.
No, I love it. We're context queens here. We love our context. So anything you can offer, we'll take it. But yeah, great little. It's weird because it's funny how I'm curious how people who didn't grow up watching Tales from the Crypt, how you respond to something like this, because it is so separate from the tone of the movie Demon Knight. So which I love.
Well, I can tell you that Griff didn't care.
Griff didn't care. Okay.
No.
All right. Was he familiar with with Tales from the Crypt?
He had no idea he has no idea what Tales from the Crypt is.
That's hilarious.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that it was like kind of like a false beginning to this movie where you get the cheating wife and the thing and the vat of
John
Larroquette as the
acid and stuff. Yeah,
as the axe corpse.
I think this is besides the point, but I think that that woman was based on Carla Faye Tucker, who was a woman who was convicted in 1984 of murdering 2 people with an axe, and she said she had an orgasm when she killed them.
Oh, damn. Okay,
so, just throwing that out there.
Thank you.
Okay,
again, context, love it. Yeah, also, I think we would be remiss to overlook the fact that the effects in this movie are absolutely insane. They're so good. Even in like what should be kind of played as a comedic bit,
Yeah.
It's gross. Like it's
Yeah.
some nasty.
Yeah.
I just saw the movie Together last night. And I mean, the effects in that movie are absolutely incredible. And I think that kind of stands toe to toe with something like that in terms of body horror.
Okay.
Well, ironically, with this beginning, this is the only true moment that feels like a Tales from the Crypt episode because Tales from the Crypt, I do think the quality of the effects on the show were really great because they had that HBO money at the time.
Yeah.
But the show itself, I always say, I don't really think of Tales from the Crypt, even though it is a horror series and it is horror. They're not really horror stories because horror really is bad things happening to good people. But if you're in a Tales from the Crypt story, if you don't do wrong, you're going to be fine. The second, Now, granted, the infractions can be minor, like you jaywalked up, you're going to die. But they always were tales of comeuppance. It's a just desserts horror story. And so this here is like this woman killed somebody. John Larroquette comes creeping in for the axe murder of it all. And then, to your point, because Demon Knight was a pre-existing script, it's really far and away very different from anything we ever got in the show. And we don't really get a Tales from the Crypt movie that delivers kind of tonally the show until Bordello of Blood.
Yes.
Which
I saw Bordello of Blood in the movie theater with my mother, who was
there's the mistake. Yeah.
Who was at the time,
Mom,
he's kind of changed his tune now, but at the time she was a big Dennis Miller fan. And she wanted to see it because of him, and I probably wanted to see it for
like
other
10?
reasons. But yeah, I was like 10 or 11
You
or
were
something.
also a really big Dennis Miller fan. You're like, I love his politics. I want to see where it goes.
But dude, like thinking about this now, like sitting in the movie theater being like, oh my God, like this fucking wild.
That's a different conversation.
Well, also, just to kind of build off of that, the original, not the original, but the screenwriters, Ethan Reif and Cyrus Voris, actually two of the three, but they had written the original spec. It's not that they were like fighting the system or anything, but the studio was kind of saying like, we really do need to pivot quite a bit to get the tone right, because they wanted to do something that was a little bit more action horror. And the studio's like, no, we have to lean into the monsters. And also in terms of like, you mentioned, Michael, about how Bordello of Blood felt more kind of aligned with Tales from the Crypt. This was supposed to be the first in a planned trilogy. They got to the second one with Bordello of Blood. The third one was supposed to actually be From Dusk Till Dawn, and they just couldn't. It was Quentin Tarantino. This is from their words. They said Tarantino, they just couldn't cut a deal with him that made sense for what they could afford, so it didn't work out. But when you look at From Dusk Till Dawn, obviously it's very much a Robert Rodriguez movie. It's very much written by Tarantino. But when you look at even down to the similarities with the monsters and the effects, there are these parallels that are it's actually shocking now that we just did From Dusk Till Dawn a few episodes ago. And I was making notes while watching the movie about these similarities that I was finding. And then later after the fact, found out this fact. And it was like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's a real aha moment. I think that Tales from the Crypt culturally had such an aesthetic and such a vibe that when you discover something was written for it, but not used for it, and then you have that in your brain, you can start seeing it. One of the most famous Hollywood examples that was not part of this trilogy you're talking about, that is a movie that's very beloved by cult fans that most people don't know was written as a Tales from the Crypt movie. But then when I say it, people are like, wait, of course it was, is Death Becomes Her. Death Becomes Her was intended to be a Tales from the Crypt movie, directed by Robert Zemeckis, who is an executive producer of Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
And once you know that Death Becomes Her was originally intended to be Tales from the Crypt, it is the most Tales from the Crypt movie.
My God.
But
that's wild.
Yeah,
That's so funny. Now I want to go back and rewatch it just with that lens. That's so fun. Have you done so on your podcast with Peaches Christ Midnight Mass, you cover cult movies, not necessarily just cult horror.
Yes.
But cult movies. Have you done Death Becomes Her?
Yeah, we did Death Becomes Her a couple years ago. Our guests were Ben de la Creme and Jinx Monsoon and Fina Sanchez from Creepshow.
Oh my God. What a lineup. That's so wild.
Oh, wow.
All right, so listeners, go if you haven't already listened to Midnight Mass. We couldn't recommend it highly.
No.
You know, yeah, it's incredible. And definitely, I'm going to be checking out that episode. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioned Robert Zemeckis as a producer of Tales from the Crypt. Like, there was so many big producers that kind of put this show together. Just a few I have written down here: Gilbert Adler, Walter Hill, Joel Silver, Richard Donner. It's just incredible how they just came together, like all these huge names, and made this show. But
Well, it's funny.
Um,
I didn't put this together, but Charles Fleischer, who plays Wally, was the voice of Roger Rabbit. So there's a nice little. You start to see the DNA kind of
Okay.
bubbling up.
yeah, yeah. Let's jump to we've talked about the Crypt Keeper. Let's jump to our second official reveal, which is Billy Zane, aka the Collector.
Yeah, we get introduced to him. We don't know. We haven't established the fact that he's a villain. There's like the chase scene between him and Breaker, William Sadler's character, and then it all everyone kind of converges in this very like siege setting.
Yeah, because at that point you don't know. One of them's a bad guy, but you really don't know who. At this point, and I don't think we'll refer to him as the Collector. I don't think his intro as a monster.
You can refer to him as whatever you want. I'm referring to him as his proper
Billy
God-given name, Billy Zane.
What was his name in Titanic? We should call him whatever his name was in Titanic.
It was Cal.
Cal.
Cal. That's right.
The Cal.
Cal the Collector.
This is now becoming a running thing
Sounds
for our
good.
Killer Comics triple feature where we keep renaming like one of the central characters. We
to like a
who was
previous
Wade was
entry.
Dale.
Billy Zane, no stranger to comics because he also was in the Phantom around this time.
That's right. Yeah. What was
Yeah.
that? Was that not 95 or 96?
That's a good question.
It was. I almost feel like they came out because after this he did Titanic was 96, and someone had someone suggested that it was this performance that got James Cameron's attention, but I don't know if that's true because
Does
in the
James
time that it
Cameron
would have
watch
taken-
movies?
Exactly. He was writing the 5th Avatar movie. He didn't have any time.
The Phantom was 96. Yeah, so it was the
It was
following
96.
year.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was like, I haven't really hammed it up enough in this movie. I feel like I need and then he just looks over at that purple suit and
Yeah. But his performance in this is incredible.
They're all of them are. They're all really good in this
Yeah.
movie, actually.
And I don't think he could have been introduced as a monster in a better way than the way he punches that fucking cop.
all
in
he
the
did
face.
was punch him in the mouth and rip his head
Yeah.
off. What do you mean?
Yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
amazing.
I love it's such a good gag that his hand gets stuck and he's like flinging him around. And finally he just pops his head off. And oh my God, I was cracking up. That was so good.
So 2 things about this. So Billy Zane said that he was playing Robin Williams' genie if Robin Williams' genie came from hell. So there was this idea of, it was kind of cartoon rules, cartoon logic
Okay.
where anything could happen. And he wasn't
Sure.
playing it to be scary. He was just playing it to be performative. But also one thing I could not overlook was the fact, I don't know how familiar you guys are with Stephen King. Like if you've read any Stephen King books that specifically include Randall Flagg.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
I could
Yeah.
not, this was the most Randall Flagg. This was one of my, I know it's obviously not Randall Flagg, but it feels the most Randall Flagg of all the Randall Flaggs we've seen put on screen. I just did, as you guys know, I did my deep dive into the Dark Tower universe, where Randall Flagg is a little bit more prominent in different ways. And you see different colors of him and how he plays maniacal in exactly this way, where it's to sort of throw you off, not necessarily to kind of outright frighten you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would just say that this, the Collector is having more fun than Randall Flagg ever had.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Randall Flagg is playing by there's a lot of rules that he's kind of aligned with. In this one, it seems like he's just kind of doing whatever he wants. Well, also, this character, the Collector, was originally supposed to just be the devil. And then they sort of reworked it to maybe not make him as all powerful because obviously, spoiler alert, he dies in the end. Or actually, no, he does. He actually has a very Randall Flaggish ending where I hope this isn't a spoiler, but Randall Flagg is this being that when he dies, he basically is reincarnated. So we get that in this one. Hopefully you've seen
Right.
it.
I've read The Stand, but I did not know that he was. I haven't read any of the Dark Tower. I didn't know he was a big character in that.
Yeah, The Stand actually. Yeah, I think you would like the Dark Tower. They do.
Oh, I probably would. Yeah.
Yeah, The Stand plays a very big part in that series, but I will say no more.
They are supportive texts.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
supportive text.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I was going down these. God, when you enter the world of Stephen King on YouTube and you get diehard Stephen King fans, I literally had a map. I had this whole Google Doc map of how to read, what order, and there was a lot of debate as to like which of the supportive text, the other books that Stephen King had written that are either partially or directly connected to the Dark Tower universe, like what order.
Yeah.
You know, there is something to be said. I mean, I love Stephen King. I've been reading Stephen King since I was a kid, but he gets complicated sometimes. And every now and then you just want a horror author who's just like, Dean Koontz loves dogs. End of story. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
Dean
Yeah.
Koontz, speaking of the Phantom, he did Phantoms.
Yeah.
I think in all 90s, everything's just like
Dude.
compiled into this 1 year, just changed to the horror genre.
Yeah. And that's a movie, we're talking about like early 90s and movies like Warlock that, you mentioned Warlock and Wishmaster, so I'm going to stick with the W's here. Dean Koontz made a book called Watchers, is I think who you're referencing with the dogs.
Yeah.
And that was a movie with, was it Corey Haim?
Corey Haim, yeah.
Corey Haim, yeah. And that was a fun movie. And they're like, I mean, it's been years and years since I've seen it, so I don't know if it holds up, but that's one that just kind of fell by the wayside that you don't really hear about anymore.
Well, if you didn't know, there are 4 Watchers movies. So after Corey Haim and the dog have their misadventure, there's 3 more. One of which stars the Beastmaster Mark Singer. Part 3 has Wings Hauser, and Part 4 is a soft reboot with Mark Hamill. So,
what?
Dude, I am gonna go down
From
a rabbit
Haim
hole.
to Hamill.
yeah.
Dude, good to know. That's awesome.
Thomas Hayden Church in this movie, by the way, is so deplorable. Which is it means he's doing the assignment super well. Like to Casey's point, they all are really good in this movie.
Yeah.
But he's playing such an awful person that like the clock starts ticking. I'm like, this guy needs to die. Like, I cannot wait for him to go.
And he just kept getting worse. And I was like,
oh yeah.
I was like, oh,
Well,
he's
to
the
the
real
point-
monster because he did this. And then he did something else that was really bad. And I was like, oh my God. Okay.
We did when we were going over our monster reveals. I considered, I was going to say, do we include Roach? Is his character?
Roach,
do we include Roach? But I was like, it's more of an honorable mention. He sort of is kind of just playing into the horror of it. But there is a line when we're very kink friendly on this show, which we've stated in the past. And there's a scene where Roach is walked in on as he's having sex with, was it with Cordelia?
Cordelia.
Yes.
Yep.
And they're doing some nipple play with what do you call them?
Jumper cables.
Yeah. And he's like, my nipples are smoking because she just. And I was like, Thomas Hayden Church, your nipples are in fact smoking. So thank you. He looks fantastic.
He just along with Billy Zane, kind of like on different ends of the spectrum, but like their delivery of lines and their performances are just so good, and like everything they do is just Thomas Hayden Church. They're just just one of a kind.
Yeah.
They said Ernest Dickerson said that when they were on set, they said Thomas Hayden Church was just a really pleasant actor on set, and he said the first time they met, they hugged, and he was like, he told Ernest Dickerson, he says, you're one of the best smelling people I've ever met. And Ernest Dickerson was like, oh, thank you.
Oh gosh.
Now here's some nipple clamps.
Yeah. Now put these on your nipples.
Yeah.
When you see those nipple clamps, by the way, it's like just raw metal. I'm like, are those biting into the flesh? I'm a little concerned. Like, yeah, no kink shaming. Yeah, don't kink shame, kink shame. However, I'm more so worried. Like, shouldn't they be putting like a little like protector on top of that?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, maybe. Well, even if you did like, I don't know if you could do like a rubber kind of like on the teeth of the clamp.
Yeah.
Well,
if it
rubber
was-
Even
would-
then, the pressure is so strong to.
But rubber
to
would
connect
ground
to a
it,
car.
so like you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. You couldn't.
Yeah.
do
you
it.
gotta, you really gotta
They
go
wouldn't
for
get
it.
the
if
same
you're gonna do
kink
it,
out of
so,
it.
He
no.
had a decision to make. He's like, am I going for the pressure or am I going for the shock? And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the gamble you take.
Yep.
yeah. Listeners, welcome to our new offset podcast about nipple clamps, and we're going to start
Me
doing
Daddy.
deep dives every episode. Yeah, it's part of our Choke Me Daddy segment.
That's right. Okay. Our third reveal. Demons are born from the weird like antifreeze blood that Billy Zane has. Yeah, dude, when I was a kid, I used to like, I would doodle all the time and draw things. And I always drew like these little demon characters with their like their round heads and their pointy faces and their little hair that came up the back. And
When they were first brewing out of there, they looked very xenomorph.
Yeah.
oh, sure. Well, I was
Very
thinking, I was thinking pumpkin.
I was thinking Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkin-
Yeah,
well,
very
same
big
thing.
Pumpkinhead
Yeah.
vibes. Yeah.
Same thing.
yeah.
You know.
Also, this is where I made my first note. Was that I thought they reminded me of the bat vampires from Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I know. I don't think I from what little research I did on this part of it with the effects, I don't think there was a through line. I could be wrong. It was just kind of like a happy accident, strange coincidence.
Yeah.
But it was directly inspired by Jason and the Argonauts when the skeletons are coming out of the earth.
Okay. Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's Jason and the Argonauts by way of, or Pumpkinhead by way of Jason and the Argonauts.
When he's flinging his blood around, it's just like, it's very loose. I'm just like, that his blood is very thin. I feel like he's on his unholy mission, but maybe should consult a physician afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, not
Totally.
that it's green or glowing or,
No,
or
there needs to be
birds, demons.
more coagulation. Like, I'm worried about the collector's kind of just general health. Maybe he needs more like supplemental vitamins. I'm not sure, but
And that was all Billy Zane, by the way. That was not in the script. He just came in and was like, just roll the camera. I got
you. I got you.
I think this will work.
But the effect where they like, if you shoot, you have to shoot them in the eyes, and then like their souls are being set free.
Mhm.
That was a cool like explanation before, for that zapping effect.
Yeah, we get a little
That's
context for them here. We get that obviously they're from Billy Zane's blood. They shoot out the green electricity. You got to shoot them in the eye, and then we find out about the Christ blood, the that creates force fields.
Oh
The
yeah.
anti-demon force field,
Mhm.
which is very convenient.
Yeah. Yeah.
Casey
you're
has
not-
thoughts. Casey's.
Casey.
No, so
We only hear from Casey when she like really dislikes something.
that's not
Hmm.
true. You hear from me a lot. I'm weird. I'm feeling weird today. But no, so Michael, I don't take notes on these movies, full disclosure. So I don't know where we're at right now in this movie. But the whole like Jesus thing, it was pretty corny, you know.
You know, it reminded me. Those flashbacks reminded me, and we're gonna get to one here, which is actually we can just jump to it. This is our next
Oh, it's
reveal.
next. See, perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, this is the Danny. You had a name for them. The demons in the flash.
The Golgotha demons
Okay,
during Christ's crucifixion.
it very much reminded me of a Ken Russell movie.
yeah, I can see that. Very like
I thought that too.
the flashbacks or the intercuts in Lair of the White Worm.
Layer of the
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Not even just the fact that it's the crucifixion, but the way the sky looks, like little details like that.
Oh,
the
yeah.
coloring of it.
Yeah, it's like very exaggerated colors, and yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's sort of just like there was a crucifixion, but the sunset was amazing.
Amazing.
Like,
You had to be there.
You should have been there. It was great. Yeah.
Is that a demon? No. Just hold on. We only have a few more seconds. The sun's going down.
That demon like creeps up on him, and he's like, "Just wait." And he's got like his paintbrush, and
Yeah,
he's
he's
painting.
creeping up and he stops. He's like,
Or it's like that. Was it Norman Rockwell where he's like looking off to the side of the painting
yeah.
as he's painting? It's
Even
like the
Jesus
demon.
is like, damn. Father, wait, hold on. I guess that would be
Oh,
God's work, though. So thank you.
Danny.
Really sending him off. Oh, this is getting dark. I'm so sorry.
We're getting a little dark, but hey, you know. Okay, so yeah, that's when they give him a name, right?
Dickerson. Is that Dickerson?
Oh, yes.
You're
Yeah,
referring to the Demon Knight?
Yeah, when
Well-
Breaker is telling the story later, he does mention that man's name. Was it Dickerson?
Well, Dickerson is the soldier who he gets the key from. Not
Okay.
there's not going to be a man named Dickerson on the hill at the crucifixion.
That is an excellent point.
It was Mary Magdalene's brother, Dickerson.
Dickerson.
Yeah.
Richardson.
Yeah. They're like, here's Steve of Nazareth just showing up.
Such a good point. Such a good point. Oh,
but
God.
that is would that be, do we think that's the first time that specific knight met one of the demons? So we can consider this an official monster reveal?
I think so, because he was taking the blood from Jesus, right? And filling the key.
Was Jesus the first demon knight?
Oh.
I mean,
maybe.
it's
Because I mean,
He was like
they get the blood
the
from each of the
Arthur.
demon knights. Do you know what I mean? Like
if
from
there were
Yeah.
a round table of demon knights, I feel like Jesus would be the Arthur of
Okay.
the round table.
right,
Okay.
but isn't the blood is from Jesus? But yeah, I mean, I guess he's Jesus, so I guess he's important even if he's not a demon knight, right? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he was
He's
like
the yeah.
the first. He was just the original, the OG.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, Casey, when they were pitching the movie, had you asked that question in the room, it would have deconstructed you. I can feel the screenwriters being like, well, but wait, no.
They would have had to have included more Jesus in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they would have like come up with some complicated like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen history. They're like, well, there was a very complicated history of demon knights that include Jesus, King Arthur, and Harry Houdini, or some shit like that. You know, like,
and Steve of Nazareth.
yeah, the Steve of Nazareth.
Oh, God. Okay. Let's jump to number 5. This is Cordelia. After her, so Billy Zane the Collector is like, throughout the movie, he kind of invades all these people's thoughts and tries to like seduce them to seduce them to the dark side, basically. And Cordelia is the first one to cave, and poor Wally, which we find out Wally later maybe had some sinister intentions, but
Yeah, Wally wasn't a great guy.
No.
He was the
wasn't.
nice guy.
Yeah, it's
But-
always the quiet ones. It's always the quiet ones, they say.
Not always,
I
but you know,
I
that
do
he
feel
was
like
the nice guy.
with Cordelia's kind of monster transformation, this is a very like Tales from the Crypt series thing where, you know, we talked about how the series loved to walk that line of the sexy scares, like because it was HBO, because it was that moment and that was considered taboo. And I think it's fun and the monster's fun. Definitely with the lens of time, I feel like it's sort of a bummer that they're like, okay, well, she's a prostitute, so we're going to make her kind of the first one to succumb and become a monster. Whereas I think maybe today we could have explored that more, or maybe not had it be like her air quotes immorality be the thing that causes her to crumble. Because I don't know.
Well,
she
she's also
deserved-
like a very vulnerable woman, though, too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's necessarily about the fact that, like, since she's a prostitute, she's a bad person.
Mhm.
But they also played on the fact that, like, she's a prostitute, so she's very vulnerable because
Right.
she's obviously got a lot of issues that have led her to that point in life.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a really good
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is where we get one of those like cool transformations that I had forgotten about. You know, all I remembered about this movie that I loved was the actual demons that like come up from the ground. I forgot that the people turn into demons and just like kind of transform, you know. She, if I'm not mistaken, it's her who like kind of gets big and she's got like a tail and her like head kind of splits apart and then she like starts to run away and they shoot her and her eyeballs squirt out.
Well, this is also sort of like we were talking about in the From Dusk Till Dawn episode, where the rules of like what these vampires are kind of are aligned with vampire lore, but then also kind of expand to the point where we're like, maybe they're not technically vampires. They are just like what they play by certain rules of vampires. And they're more kind of just, I mean, I guess vampires are technically demonic in essence, But I feel like this sort of has a similar structure to it in
Right.
that they can kind of just be whatever they are, maybe based on like environmental stuff or personality stuff, and that kind
Yeah.
of comes into play.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I think you're referencing, for one example, like Sex Machine in From
mhm.
Dusk Till Dawn, who
Yes.
like turns into like a big rat.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, and then she rips off Irene's arm, CCH Pounder, losing
Yeah.
an arm. I just like,
But she doesn't even fucking care.
she doesn't fucking
She
care.
doesn't even fucking
No.
care.
But we do get that great line later when Breaker's like, "At least we're all in one piece," and he just like looks over at Irene, and he's like, "Sorry."
Irene gets a lot of arm humor in this movie because later when she waves her stump at Billy Zane, she's like, "I'm flipping you
I'm
off."
flipping you off.
Yeah. I also love when they take her downstairs to mend her wound. She's like, "Give me the vodka," like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I love her.
That was one of those things. I think I don't know if we'll touch on it later, but when they're like fleeing the demons, they've kind of like, she's got the grenades on her she's got Wally's grenades all strapped to her chest.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
they had the thing with the blood in it. I feel like they could have just like put that in the doorway and then they all could have went up the stairs. But instead,
there are a lot of things that could have been done. They could have left one door open and lured what's his nuts inside and then closed the door, and then they could have left and he could have never left. But
that's true.
they didn't do that. That was my first thought, and I've never dealt with this before.
But it literally plays by the same rules from that we see in Signs, where the basement has a draft. There's always another way. So I feel like no matter what they would have done, Billy would have figured it out.
Why, they could have closed that off too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well,
Take him up to the attic.
did close it off, but they went into it first.
Right, I know.
This is our fifth reveal. No, I'm sorry. Cordelia was our fifth. This is our sixth reveal, where they go into that shaft, that mine shaft, and
That shit.
he does kind of seal it off behind them as they leave. But
yeah, much to Breaker's chagrin, he's like trying to keep them contained, but in all fairness, like everything that his presence has led to these deaths. So like I actually liked the way they could justify that, and even he is like, I get it. Like I didn't do this. Like it's not my fault, but I see your point.
A question that I have. He said all we have to do is wait until morning. Are there other implications that like the demons will be gone in the morning? Or
well, there's something he later he starts talking, he kind of gives more context into the backstory, which kind of, it feels a little like there's like the whole 7 stars and the 7 people. So it kind of, and maybe they directly state this and I just kind of, it just went over my head, but it's kind of implied that like this is like the one night they can do it. Or are they kind of implying that no, like when the sun goes down, if you don't kill Billy Zane, like it's just going to happen again?
Right. Yeah, but just like chill out, dude. Just be patient. These people are always so impatient.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
They always have to separate, and everyone has.
Yeah.
But you have like colorful characters like Roach, who no matter how hard you try, you're never gonna you can't keep a good Roach down.
Push him outside.
Yeah.
These people. Anyway.
Yeah.
You're right. They could have just hung out in the lobby of the hotel.
Chilling.
They had alcohol. They had food.
Had a continental breakfast.
Yeah. It could have been a great night.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We didn't know what we had in the 90s. God.
Right.
That's right.
Play some Uno. Whatever happens. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know one good game of Uno could pass time in ways you never realize.
Sure.
I bet they had Monopoly in there somewhere. That could have went on for days.
Oh, that I feel like would have been dangerous.
Yeah, someone gets
that
pissed
would have spilled blood in different ways.
Shank each other over Monopoly.
This is so in the mine shaft. This is where we meet Homer and his wife. They were the diner owners who are now demons. I can't remember how they said they got in the mine shaft. Like, why were they down there? I don't know, but
for plot reasons.
For plot reasons.
Well, that's funny you asked, because Geraldine even asks Danny, like, what are you guys doing down here? And again, this is one of those moments where I'm like, oh, I should probably pay closer attention, or I did, and I just, well, I think it's just that maybe we're to assume that because we know that where the diner is in close proximity, that maybe the demons like Billy Zane like was basically like rounding his troops. I mean, like clear out the surrounding areas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
like finding
maybe
ways in.
maybe little Danny says that they chased him down there.
I think he does. Yep.
Hey, it's Big Danny to you.
Sorry, Big Dan.
Big Dan.
Big Dan.
Big Dan.
Yeah, that leads us to kind of maybe think that Wormwood, New Mexico is no longer a safe space.
Yeah. Yeah. Avoid Wormwood.
Where
at all
once you
costs.
could find solace and peace. No longer.
Wormwood, New Mexico, which based on what we have seen is one weird isolated hotel, a roadside diner, and an alley for a man to drink in.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's an
quite-
unincorporated
quite the
town
vibe.
off of Highway 7 or
It rivals perfection in Tremors.
Yeah.
Think
Oh
of it.
yeah.
Where at least there was a level of charm and
Yeah.
the locals were themselves charming.
You know who wouldn't have
And you had
taken
Reba.
any nonsense in Demon Knight is Reba McEntire. I'm just here to say
Oh,
that.
sure.
Yeah.
She said, "Give me the elephant gun."
Oh my god, to have Reba in a Demon Knight sequel versus Billy Zane, the
Oh,
things I
no.
would sell, including my
God.
soul, are limitless. Oh,
That's great. Okay. Official reveal number 7. We are jumping back to World War I. This is where Breaker first meets the demons and becomes the newest Demon Knight. I feel like it's like an ad for like Hasbro toys or something like
Yeah.
that. Like, but yeah, they're like in the
Also-
foxholes and
where we established that it's made me laugh too much. So stupid. But every time, like, there is a sound effect for the blood key and like the markings when they appear, and it's
Oh, yeah.
basically just Sex Panther cologne from Anchorman.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like distant, like, like, oh, okay, sure.
yes, I love it. That's great. They're like the guys, the Dickerson, who is now in World War I. Dickerson,
Yes.
Yeah.
he's filling up the the key, and he gives it to Breaker, and he says, "I'm going to butcher the line," but he's like, 50% of the time it works 100% of the time.
It works
Here's the key.
50% of the time. It works every time.
Every time.
Jesus blood.
Jesus blood, yeah. I loved though that when they sealed the doorways and he like does that drop and it like goes up, and then you just, even when he's doing it off screen, you see the red
Mhm.
lighting just like fill up the room. I thought that was a
Yeah.
fun little
I mean,
effect.
also great production trickery. They're like, we're not going to pay for this every time. So if you
Uh-huh.
could just
Yeah.
get like
Exactly.
a flashing gel, that would be really great.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the date was September 23rd, 1917.
In the
yes.
Yeah.
It was did you say August? It was August
Oh, I said
23rd,
September.
1917.
August 23rd.
Yep.
That means that Breaker was a soldier in World War I, or as it was known at the time, the Great War.
The
The
Great,
Great
War.
Yes.
Billy Zane thought his character thought he was in the Great War, but no.
Right. But it also means that this is 5 years after Billy Zane set sail on the
Yep,
HMS
on the
Titanic.
Oh my God. That's so great. Oh my God, I love it.
Okay. Let's go to reveal number 8. This is where we meet Willie as a demon. He has been taken over. He has succumbed to the collector's
He was just
whatever
bathing
you
in
call it.
boobies.
He's
Yeah.
bathing in boobies, and he's just in heaven with his whiskey or whatever he's drinking. And
Also, this
Yeah.
might be ultra specific. And
Please, we love that.
maybe like, 5 people are going to be like, oh, yeah. But in this sequence, when Dick Miller enters into the boobified tiki lounge, when Billy Zane is the bartender, he's doing Hunter S. Thompson, right? Like, is that?
I was
Yeah.
literally
Oh, good
thinking,
point.
yes, same thing.
good point.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Good call.
We probably
Um,
should maybe mention that in between these two monster reveals, we do get some context. I don't know how important it is. I guess if you've already seen the movie, but we basically just set up the fact that the collector is and these demons are trying to bring about eternal darkness. And
Oh, yeah.
this is
Yeah.
like their last stop on their blood magic key tour. And
Oh yeah, because there were 7 of them.
Yeah.
They made, when he was telling the story, I was like just thinking about Lord of the Rings. And I was like, damn, I really wish I was watching Lord of the Rings right now.
Well, it's also implied that of the 7 keys, they were scattered across the universe. That's
Right.
the context we're
Right.
given. So there are spin-off movies that are just
Demon
aliens.
Knight 4 in space.
Yeah.
oh yeah, see, there's like an unlimited potential for this franchise that no one is benefiting from or capitalizing on.
Yeah.
But should be.
Yeah.
And when I say
Oh,
people,
you guys
I
write
mean
movies,
us.
so
Yeah, what are we
get
doing?
to it.
Like, let's Demon
Dude,
Knight
that's
2
what they
or...
were digging for in Ghosts of Mars.
What are you
They were looking
talking
for the
about,
key.
Zach?
They were looking
and
for
then
the
that
key.
Crimson Wind came
Then
in.
the Crimson Wind came along.
You're an air balloon.
But back to Dick Miller as a demon, you just love Dick Miller. Like he's just, I love seeing him pop up and stuff. And it's just, he just adds such a, I don't want to say playfulness, but there's like, I don't know. He adds something to a scene and to a movie that's just, you can't pinpoint it.
And somehow in his entire career working with Roger Corman and popping up in Gremlins and all of these really storied films that are genre based, this is the first time that he ever did prosthetics, which is wild.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Crazy.
Okay.
He was not happy about it either.
No,
was like,
nor
this
should
is
he have been. You know,
No, yeah.
Yeah.
you don't want to be in heavy prosthetics once you like cross 65. I'm sorry. That's
Yeah,
just like,
exactly.
Yep.
He did, however, he was quite fond of this scene though with the
With
naked
boobs.
women. He
Yeah, of
said
course.
he joked that it took him about 16 or 17 takes. He says he couldn't get the
Sure.
line straight.
Pervy old man.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. But he gets a pass because it is Dick Miller.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's probably why Robert Englund doesn't want to do Freddy anymore. It's not that he's too old or like he can't do the role. He just doesn't want to put on the fucking makeup.
He's like,
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so much.
He's like, I'm done.
I
fucking
hate doing cosplay. I hate putting on a full face of
Mhm.
makeup to go to a convention. It drives me fucking nuts. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
yeah.
Although if I were making a lot of money, maybe.
Yeah, that does change
You know.
things, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably deal with it. But.
Yeah, I'll be Freddy Krueger for a 6-figure paycheck.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I do want to mention that this is like one of many movies where William Sadler is trapped inside somewhere and can't go outside.
Tell us more about that, Zach.
The Shawshank Redemption.
That is also I was going to say that's also relevant to
The
Stephen
Mist.
King kind of setting. Yeah.
The Mist.
Mist.
Yep.
Oh,
He-
yeah,
they're in
yeah.
the grocery store and they don't want to go outside. And I just,
Yeah.
I thought about that. I'm like, oh yeah, he just loves these kind of movies. He's just like drawn to it.
Is he trapped in anything in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey?
A phone booth.
That's fair.
Oh yeah,
Hell,
I mean, like
technically. I don't know
hell.
if he's hell. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, I always forget that he's deaf in that. It's so great.
Oh my gosh. He's one of the better Grim Reapers in cinema.
Sure.
He really is. He also just did have you guys seen, it was a few years ago, I want to say it was like 2019. There was sort of an Expendables for horror movie. It was the VFW. And it's basically just all these iconic kind of older actors in that kind of like siege setting, like bottle horror.
Yeah. Speaking of From Dusk Till Dawn, I think Fred Williamson was in that. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have to watch that.
You would like it.
Getting to our 9th reveal, this is where Danny turns into a
Kids,
dickhead.
aren't they already demons?
He's a little dickhead.
Come
He's
on.
reading a comic
again,
book.
another thing we should establish is we've seen him reading a comic, and he's of course reading Tales from the Crypt.
Mhm.
Yeah. We love meta horror.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool that kind of like the pages are turning and we're seeing that.
Yeah,
it's
I wish they would have
happening.
done that more
Sure.
in
Yeah.
this. It seemed like something that could have kind of been a through line in here.
Yeah.
But
Like if he was kind of reading it throughout the story and he was like picking up things and being like, well, that's weird that happened.
something.
And then,
His
that's
monster transformation is pretty great. I love when his like head
Mhm.
kind of separates from his jaw. But my he might be my favorite dispatching of a demon in the movie because it sort of isn't even really explained. They just yeet him out the window and he just blows up. And the thing is like based on the rules of the demons that we've had thus far, that doesn't really make sense. But because to Casey's point, like, okay, we've been running a little long pacing wise. It's just like when he blows up, we're just like, sure, let's go. Like not the next thing.
Well, I think it's because wasn't it because they had the window sealed?
Oh, was it sealed?
And he was
All
kicked
right.
through the window.
Yep. That's right.
I think that's
You're
why.
right.
again, our second yeet in our Killer Comics triple feature when Blade yeets Karen across the buildings when they run away.
Blade's the
So
boss.
fingers crossed, Uzumaki has a iconic
yeeting
I'm
scene.
sure there's so much yeeting in Uzumaki.
Junji Ito is known for his yeeting.
Yes, he loves eating. So,
but yeah, that's funny. Just like, yeah, just chuck him out the window.
Yeah.
Now, little Danny tongue fucks Breaker's chest. It was so gross.
Yep, pretty much.
Geraldine now has to become the new Demon Knight, and she collects the blood out of Breaker's chest. But Billy Zane just comes and fucking dumps it all out. But not until she gets a little bit in her mouth.
Listen, I know, I'm sorry, but this pissed me off too. Why did she hold it in her mouth for so long?
So they could do the tango.
No, exactly. He needed to have his Bond villain moment.
She was in his face for so long.
Yeah, and there was like a moment because earlier we saw
funny.
him like try to seduce her in this fantasy setting, and I thought she was waiting for them to like kiss, and then she was gonna like put it in his mouth, like get it internal, and he was just gonna like explode.
Maybe they wanted to do that, and it just visually just doesn't work. They needed to see it
you needed to see it. Yeah,
because that makes sense. That like maybe you can't get it. It's like superficially, but
yeah.
It's like it's like Bruce the Shark and Jaws. Like you can pierce him all you want, but you got to get that. Blow him up from inside.
Well, earlier I talked about not knowing if the fantasy scenes were something I had seen in another movie or if it was this. I felt the same way about this tango scene. I was like, oh, I missed when movies did like weird off the wall stuff like this.
They used to do this all the time. Every time I watched this movie.
Not specifically the tango, but just like balls to the wall, just crazy stuff.
A tango does occur in the Jim Carrey motion picture The Mask. Maybe that's what you're thinking of.
I think that's it. That's what it is.
The king of the rumba beat.
Directed by a very famous horror director. The name escapes me now. He did Dream Warriors.
Chuck Russell?
Chuck Russell did The Mask. Yeah.
That I did not know.
Yeah.
Why does that now feel...
And he's got the new Witchboard remake coming out.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
What else did he do? I feel like we were just talking about a Chuck Russell movie recently.
He did the 88 Blob as well.
Oh, the Blob. We did our Blob commentary.
Yep.
That's right. Okay, thank you.
But one thing I had a problem with was how white Geraldine's clothes get.
Oh yeah,
after he just like rinses her off in the bath.
Yeah,
she's like drenched in blood, and then he like pours some water on her, and her clothes are just like brand new white. And I was like, no.
I'm not usually this person, but I guess for this movie I am. This like nitpicky, because it's a fucking movie, so they're doing what they want to do for the film, and if they would have just stayed in there safely, we wouldn't have this film. So why am I so upset about that? But yeah, and then when he wraps her in the thing, she acts like it immobilized her, like it was a cloak that had some sort of supernatural powers, and she couldn't move. Like he put her in the bathtub, and she's like, ah, and it's like open, and she could have like punched him in the face or something, and
or spit the stuff in his mouth,
or spit the stuff in his face. Yeah, I don't know.
But in our 10th reveal, we see her spit the blood in the collector's face, and he kind of like melts and then rips himself apart in like this big demon with big wings, and presumably like the devil, I would say.
That's pretty cool.
Well, he was supposed to be they wanted to go for a look that was like living fire. That was going to be his true form. Which actually kind of reminded me of in again, just referencing our last movie, Blade. Was it La Magra?
What
was the Magra? Yeah. Which they also tried to do kind of like this non-physical, like he was like basically blood, right? Like just kind of this floating blood thing, which is interesting that again, it was a thing that they couldn't quite pull off with the effects that they had. So they end up going to something more practical, which arguably is kind of more effective. Not just like visually, but just in terms of like the relationship between the characters. Because then you get like they have more of a fight, so to speak. And this one, obviously, it's not it's no sword fight from Blade versus Frost, but I think it works.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then our last and final. Oh well, that means the same thing, but
Our last and or final.
Or is it our final? Yeah, our last reveal is the brand new collector, as Geraldine has now taken on this role. She has gotten on the bus, and she goes back and pours the little drop onto
That's cute.
the bus, and then they stop to pick him up, and he like kind of looks at the doorway and he says, "I'll take the next one." Like that was cool. That was cool that it just like,
and then walks away whistling the Tales from the Crypt theme song.
Yeah.
Get another Danny Elfman reference.
And then they stop the bus though, and they say, "Hey, we're looking for some guys to oil us up before these shows."
Spoiler alert for my alternate title for this reveal.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, that's Demon Knight.
Really quick, we would be remiss to, not point out the fact that we do get to close the movie off with at the world premiere of Demon Knight in Westwood Village. Getting our last look. Well, second to last look, because if you stay for the credits, you see the Crypt Keeper once again. But I just, wanted to give the Crypt Keeper his flowers.
Totally.
Well, he gets a flower at the end of the movie, actually.
Yeah. No, right before he gets his head cut off. I love that. It's just like
it's final cut.
Yep. All right. Now let's pick our favorite reveals in Ernest Dickerson's Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. Okay, so I'm going to do a speed round recap of our 11 reveals. With these, I do have some alternate titles. Some of them I'm just going to make up on the spot because I didn't come up with some.
Love it.
Our first reveal is the Crypt Keeper. Needs no alternate title. He is just one of a kind. He's great. Crypt Keeper. Our second reveal is the Collector punching the sheriff through the face. This is also known as cops like donuts, but they don't want to be a donut. Stupid.
What about insane in the Zane brain?
Oh, insane in the Zane brain. Okay, also known as insane in the Zane brain. Number 3 is the demons being born from the collector's blood, aka somebody save the EPA. Number
Zach,
4 is the demons. Danny, say the name again. The Golgotha.
Golgotha. I don't even know
demons.
if I'm pronouncing it right.
Golgotha sounds good.
The Gal Gadot demons.
Okay. The Jesus demons, also known as the Gal Gadot demons, also known as Jesus Christ Demon Star.
An Agatha Christie reference with Murder on the Nile.
Let's see. Number 5 is Cordelia gets possessed and kills Wally, also known as Cordelia Goes Postal. Let's see. Geraldine in our 6th reveal meets Homer and his wife in the mines, also known as How the hell did the Simpsons get down here? Stupid. Oh my God.
Zach,
It's like the dumbest things ever.
You need to leave.
You only asked us for help with one of these.
Our 7th reveal is the World War I demons, also known as foxholes, more like demon holes. God, somebody just take the keyboard away from me.
Michael, you can just sign off. We get it. We're kidding, Zach. We love you.
Thank you. Our 8th official reveal was meeting Willie as a demon, also known as Viagra. Just give Willie some demon boobies. Jeez. I only have 3 more to go, you guys. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Number 9, Danny's losing it. Number 9 is Danny becomes a demon by seeing the comic book, the eyes in the comic book. Also known as, this is a Freddy Krueger reference, or a Freddy Krueger quote, "Told you comic books was bad for you." If anyone is familiar with Nightmare on Elm Street 5, which is fitting because Tales from the Crypt stopped because people thought that comic books like this were bad for kids. So
That's
number 10 is Geraldine sees the real collector, also known as "Keep my demon knight's blood out of your fucking mouth." And our final reveal is the new collector, also known as "The town is back that way."
The town's back that way.
Those are great, Zach.
So thank you for bearing with me, you guys. Not my best work, but hey, you can't win them all.
They were.
So
it was. I would
You'll
argue
have to
it's
excuse
the
my
best
friend.
work.
He's a bit slow.
Casey, let's start with you. What is your favorite reveal in Demon Knight?
So my favorite reveal is actually Cordelia goes postal.
Okay.
But I think it's just because I don't know. I guess it was like the only moment in that movie that felt very real, like human. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Sure.
Because, you know, they were showing her like vulnerabilities and that she was just a sad human being.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It
It just stuck
takes
with
a
me.
turn.
Yeah.
I think it's a great pick.
Yeah, because like, you know, then because Uncle Willie's like just likes boobies.
He just likes
That's how they
movies.
got
Yeah,
Uncle
that was
Willie,
like,
you know, because it's just boobies. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, yeah.
There is deep pathos there, Casey.
Yeah, you don't
We
know.
don't know his
You
story.
don't know why he's vulnerable towards boobies. Like,
Yeah, you're right. I don't.
It's not that it could be the alcohol or just being
Yeah.
a pervy old man.
No,
Um,
I'm sure there's much more. I'm sure it has to do with the fact that he couldn't properly suck on his mom's breast as a baby.
Oh, I was going to say just some boobies went to get cigarettes and never came back. And that's just,
Talk about a Stephen King reference.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a deep cut.
Michael, do you have a favorite reveal in Demon Knight?
I do. I don't know that I remember all the names you gave it. There's like the EPA gave my baby away or whatever. But the sequence where the demons rise up out of the goo after Billy Zane flings his blood around. I love this because it's very reminiscent to me of a specific era of horror. I remember a time when horror was much slimier and stickier. I love, you know, the Toxies and the Frankenhookers and the basket case era, the stuff. And I just miss slimy horror movies. And so that moment's great.
Yeah.
It is a good, it is a good one. Yeah. It's,
Yeah, I'm just going to build off that
more.
because that is also my my favorite reveal in the movie, and it might be like a nostalgia thing because that's what I remember when I think of Demon Knight. I think of that scene with the demons coming up and the little like green glowy blood and just Billy Zane outside getting he jumps out the window and he's like does his little cowboy thing and he gets all pissed off and he throws his hat down and it was almost like Beetlejuice. It was almost he just doing like a Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. And
it was.
So
and
model.
He improvised a lot of his lines for the movie. Which it's just like another testament to what Billy Zane, not only the fact of like what he's bringing to the movie, but the fact that he is way horribly criminally underused as an actor these days. And even then I would say, like, I don't know, like as a filmmaker, you want an actor who's just going to like commit and bring something fresh. I don't understand what more you could want outside of someone like Billy Zane. And even to the fact that like he's proven himself in a big budget, like mainstream movie like Titanic, where I think he is a very memorable villain. Yeah, he is very hateable, but there is a weird, like pathetic kind of pitying quality to him that you wonder kind of like why he is the way he is.
Yeah.
In Titanic?
In Titanic, yeah.
Oh yeah, he's just in Titanic. He's just a fucking he's just a lonely man.
Yeah,
he's just a dude.
Danny, what's your favorite reveal?
Man.
Well, now I feel unoriginal. I have the same. I guess it's unoriginal for a reason because it's just so good. But it's the demon blood flinging Jason and the Argonauts Pumpkinhead xenomorph birth scene.
That's what I should have called it.
Yeah, you guys explained why it works and why it's arguably one of the best, if not the best, monster intros in the movie.
Yeah.
So I will refrain from adding more to it because it would just be an echo. It's just a great scene. I love it.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well now it's time for a segment that we like to call The Real Monster. So Danny, let's start with you. Do you have any real monsters for Demon Knight?
Yeah, I do. I only have two. Okay. The first is adding ketchup to pea soup.
Anything? Oh. God.
And then, at least I think it's pea soup. And then my second real monster is pea soup.
Yeah.
So I would have, it would have been on the list without the ketchup, which also I don't know. Weirdly, I used to put ketchup on everything. I hate ketchup now. I don't know why.
Do too.
Dude, when I was a kid, I was right there with just ketchup on everything.
Everything.
Fucking glazed donuts. Dude,
What?
fucking-
Okay, Zach is the
Zach,
what?
get
The real monster has been revealed.
What?
dude, when I was a kid,
we have to have a break.
You ruined a
It's
lot
too
of
much.
glazed donuts, you fucking turd.
dude, guess what else I ruined when I was
I
a
don't
kid?
want to know.
Oh no.
Cinnamon rolls.
Oh my
Zach!
god.
Cinnamon rolls are like the greatest creation on this fucking planet.
When I was a kid,
Oh
Zach,
my
there was
God.
one answer to
Gotta
what
be
you
with
should have
ketchup.
said. It French fries, tater tots,
You're disgusting.
classics.
hey, I don't do it anymore.
I
Just
can't
kids
even
are.
look at you.
Hey, I've got
Who
2
are
kids
you?
of my own. They're fucking. They do some
That's
questionable shit.
Hilarious. No, I'm sorry. We were on a meeting recently, and I specifically overheard Indy asking for 2 things: pizza and like fruit.
Yeah, the other day, Indy,
Never was there
Indy-
something referencing even anything close to ketchup on a donut.
The other day, Indy dipped her orange slices in salsa.
Oh, that's pretty
That's
funny.
not that bad.
Okay, so
Eh,
it runs in.
I mean,
it
there
runs
is
in the
fruit
blood.
salsa.
They make
but-
mango salsa
I
and
know,
pineapple
that's
salsa.
true.
You're,
I'm trying to
you're
think of-
grasping there. Your daughter's not as dumb as you are.
I'm trying to-
Casey, who's your real monster?
Oh, I'm sorry. So, it's funny because my favorite reveal was Cordelia, and my real monster is also Cordelia for that scene because she lets them in. Because, in the way that I liked the vulnerability, I also hate it because, just stop.
Pull yourself together, Cordelia.
Pull yourself together.
God damn it, Cordelia.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Oh,
you don't
God.
need therapy. You're just
Here we go.
Jesus
You're
Christ.
just
Coming
you're
in,
just
taking
being
a
dramatic.
Sharp turn.
Yeah.
You're just being dramatic.
Michael,
Horrible.
do you have any real monsters for Demon Knight?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably universally everyone would agree that Roach is one of the real monsters of this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think I also would like to point out the real monster is the hotel's lackadaisical approach to turn down service. It seems like there's a lot of question of who's doing the laundry of these sheets. And I'm like, did it ever get done? I think not.
No, there's everyone's
Yeah.
sleeping on the same sheets. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Oh,
like everyone's worst fear is just
Because Jada
explored.
also just got there.
Yeah.
that's true.
So,
Yeah. Who was
Yeah.
doing it? Like,
I was-
Irene's not doing them, clearly.
Nor
Especially
would
not
she,
now.
especially with I know. She's like, fuck this. She loses the arms. Like, I'm definitely not.
well, not
doing
just
this.
the arm. She's
Well, I mean,
Blown to
she's
pieces
having
now.
the
she's
guests
also-
do the laundry.
Yeah.
Wally's
man,
like,
she doesn't fuck
I'll do your
around.
sheets, Cordelia, and Irene's like, good, Wally, go up and
Yeah,
fucking.
Which arguably, we talked about this town, whether or not it is charming, but that is kind of a testament to the charm of the locals. The fact that they would kind of step up and help the local
yeah.
hotel owner.
I worked
Do
at
the
a
laundry.
shitty hotel. It works this way.
Just
Trust me.
relying on the good nature of your.
Oh, trust me. Yeah.
Ugh.
We had a
That's
couple
funny.
people who wouldn't let us do their sheets and stuff. They would take all their stuff to the
Oh.
laundromat and do everything themselves.
Oh, really?
That's wild.
You need to call the police.
Yeah, they didn't
People
want you in
who
the
lived it.
rooms, huh?
Oh, well, one of them was a prostitute. Her name was Vicky. She was very sweet.
Shout out, Vicky.
Yeah,
Shout out
here's to you,
Vicky. If you're still alive.
Oh my God. Poor Vicky. I've got a few real monsters. I've got, I didn't realize it was pea soup. I just said whatever the fuck he was eating in that bowl. Like that was,
It is very reminiscent of what's his name's blood, but you know.
That's
oh,
true.
yeah.
Well, they mentioned they mentioned guacamole earlier, so that assumed. But I was like, well, he's not just like raw dog and guac. Like,
Well,
there's got to be
one of them said
something.
it looked better when it was roadkill. So
Oh, yeah.
So there's meat.
Oh yeah, maybe someone ran over.
Green
Maybe
meat.
one of the demons. Maybe someone ran over a demon earlier, scooped it up, said, "Irene, I got some.
Oh,
I
maybe
got
it's like a
dinner for you."
salsa verde kind of
Oh
thing.
God!
yeah, delicious. Oh, now I want tomatillo salsa.
And really, the last real monster I have for this movie is Roach. Just as we've said before, he was just awful. All right, now sticking with our theme, I will say this is our last and final segment. Would you survive? Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight.
I would survive if it weren't for all of the other idiots with me.
That's a
Mm.
very good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
They very easily all could have survived this night.
Yeah.
If they
I
had
would have
listened.
died. I
So
would die because of them, survive on my own. So it really depends on the scenario.
yeah. Danny, Michael, any thoughts on if you'd survive Demon Knight?
I would say no, because I feel like I would just immediately succumb to Billy Zane's charm Like if I got my
Gotcha.
own fantasy sequence,
Yeah.
he'd be like, "Hey,
You'd be
Danny,"
like,
like, "Yes."
I'll keep you pretty. Like,
He
yeah.
wouldn't even like pitch anything yet. I'd be like, "I'm in."
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah,
"Hey, Big Dan."
I think to Casey's point, it really depends on whether you're like Breaker and you're running solo or you're with other people.
Mhm.
Because also
Yeah.
the second you are with a configuration of other people, not just their stupidity, but within the lore of the movie, only one person's walking out, right? It's like if there's 7
True.
people. So
Yeah.
I think then the law of averages is not in your favor. But if I'm
Right.
just like hitting the road in the desert in my car or like my bus, I think I could probably
Mhm.
Yeah.
make it, but if I'm
Yeah.
at the Mission Hotel, no. So
Yeah. Yeah. If there's only one of us walking out, it wouldn't be me. So I
Well,
agree.
that's the thing too. We were talking about sort of like the mist, like the Stephen Kinginess of it with like it does depend on sort of the people that you are kind of forced to contend with beyond the actual like monsters. And in the mist you have like is it Mrs. Carmody?
Mm-hmm.
Is that her name?
Yep.
Marcia Gay Harden's character. So all of a sudden you inject something like that into the mix. It adds this whole other level that you have to contend with.
Yeah.
That it makes the unpredictable even more unpredictable.
Yeah.
So I guess it is just kind of
she's like the
based
Roach
on-
character in The Mist.
Yeah,
Sort of, which
making deals,
an
thinking they're
awful,
right.
awful character, but she plays it so well. She
So
does
good.
she does that
God.
role so good.
Love her.
Well, you guys, that is Demon Knight. That is our second movie in our Killer Comics triple feature. Casey, what are we doing next? What's our next movie coming up?
Oh, we are doing Uzumaki.
Okay.
Excited.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
2000?
Excited to watch it. I think it was also known as Spiral at the time.
Yes,
Or
Uzumaki means spiral in Japanese. Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's good to know. So yeah, I'm excited for that to round out this Killer Comics triple feature. Michael, thank you so much for joining us to talk
thank you.
Demon Knight.
Thank you.
yes, thanks for having me.
If our listeners would like to follow Midnight Mass or you on social media, where can they do that? And if there's anything else that you want to plug, go for it.
For sure. You can follow me on Blue Sky and Instagram at Michael Varrati, just my name. Midnight Mass comes out every other Wednesday at midnight, wherein me and my co-host Peaches Christ discuss the cult films that we worship at the altar of. And There's a Zombie Outside is available now on streaming. You can catch it on Tubi, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, as well as pick it up on Blu-ray.
Awesome.
Amazing.
And I highly recommend you check it out because it's a trip of a movie and it's a lot of fun. And
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend you follow Michael on social media. He's hilarious. Like genuinely the funniest like person I follow on Blue Sky.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
so much.
awesome. Awesome. Casey, where can our listeners find you on social media?
I am on Instagram at WolfMotherCasey.
Awesome. Danny, it is your time to shine. I'm going to make you say it because you have to say it.
Okay. You can follow me on Instagram, Blue Sky, Letterboxd at Danny Salem. That's DANNYSALEMME. 2 M's like the candy, melt in your butt, not in your hands.
Love it. I love to see it. I love to see the confidence you exude when you say that in front of a guest. It's wonderful. And you can find me on social media at Zach Winsick. Thank you all for joining us for Demon Knight, and we look forward to our next episode on Uzumaki. And until then, thank you all for listening. Now go meet some monsters.